Hey everybody, Queen D. Michelle here, and welcome to Moving Inward and Onward. I appreciate you stopping by. This week, we're moving onward. It's based on my book, Considerations, A Guide for Moving Abroad, Chapter 2. It is entitled, Consider Finances. In Chapter 2, I state that my finances, or the lack thereof, was one of the main determining factors in my decision to move abroad. That might very well be the case with you too, huh? Finances? I understand. In this chapter, I talk about how I liquidated the money frozen from my 10 years with Detroit Public Schools, which financed my move, and how I live on my pension from 11 years with the Clark County School District in Las Vegas, and how all the rest of my work history will be calculated in my Social Security, which I'm still 4 years away from being able to receive. So, the two main questions to ask yourself when it comes to your finances and moving abroad, especially if you plan on living a retired lifestyle, as I do, is this. 1, what monies is going to finance the move? And 2, what monies will you live off of? When it came to financing my move, I cashed out on what would have been my pension from Detroit. That allowed me to pay off all loose, reoccurring debts, like the car note. Paid off my car, sold it, outstanding tickets, being transparent, payday loans, transparency here, cell phone and its equipment, and my burial plan. It also allowed me to show a substantial amount of money in the bank, which helped when I went to apply for my visa. Airline ticket, luggage, paying up and closing out utilities, cable, my rental deposit in Mexico, and I continued paying for my living expenses while planning and preparing, because I quit all my side supplement the pension jobs and totally focused on planning and preparing my move abroad, and a bunch of other unforeseen stuff. That's what liquidating that Detroit pension helped me to do. Finance my move. When it came to budgeting my monthly expenses on the $1,100 a month pension I received, trust and believe my research was thorough. Okay, now, mind you, this was 3 years ago, and I've been fortunate enough to have landlords who have not raised the rent. And during those 3 years, my pension, however, has increased by a whole $100 in 3 years. Now, this is still practically my budget. I still pay $500 a month in rent. The lights, gas, Wi-Fi, cell phone, that's pretty much all the same. You know, that has not increased too much at all. In the 3 years I lived abroad, I have written 4 books and started a brand. Writing is not work for me. It's my passion and my purpose. From book sales now and consulting and coaching sessions I do receive monies, which of course is icing on the cake. It helps fund my travels back to the States to see family and friends. Life is good. My final say on finances and considering finances is this, and it comes directly from chapter 2 of the book. I say, everyone's financial situation is different for reasons too many to count. Some have never had to steal from Peter to pay Paul. It's a figure of speech. For others, there are 401ks and inheritances and homes and savings, investments and insurance policies within their portfolios. Money management has never been a strong characteristic of mine. As a single parent, I was not a saver. I spent most times in financial survival mode. One thing is for certain, having complete understanding of the way your money will be situated when moving abroad is essential. Finally, where do you stand on simplicity? I'm presently 7 years out. That's when I wrote the book. I was 7 years out before I can claim Social Security. And my Nevada pension is my only stream of income. And it was at that time. I live a very simple life now that I live abroad. Ask yourself, what can or can't you live without? And be honest. Consider that living abroad may not truly be for you. It may sound good in theory, but to put it into practice, living in a different country with its different language, culture, food, people, and their way of being and doing things is a huge undertaking. If finances or the lack thereof is your only why for moving abroad, I'm most certain that you will not have a pleasant experience. Okay? Now, next week, we move inward. Oh, the title you ask? It's entitled, Embrace It to Erase It. See you next week. And until then, remember, one light, one love. See you next week.